Hello, stamping friends. It's Angie with Too Cool Stamping. I'm here with you again live on Thursday, 9 a.m. We do this every week. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today we have some beautiful projects to share with you. They're all about the Honeybee Bundle and the Golden Honey Designer Series paper. Coordinated products, and you're gonna love them. But first, before we get started, we're gonna wait for some of our friends to get online here for our news feed, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my kickoff party. For those of you who are in the Fort Wayne, Indiana area, which I know is just a small segment of our viewing stampers out there, but I wanted to make sure that everybody in my area knew that I do a local event. It's coming up on January 26th. And that's a Sunday. It's from 1 to 5, and it is my annual kickoff party for the mini catalog and Sale-a-Bration flyer. This is a fantastic event if you want to get your hands on and try out lots and lots. I'm talking about over 24 stamp sets and all kinds of accents from the catalogs. We're going to do 20 different cards, 20 unique cards, so we're not doing multiples of anything. And each card is going to feature a different stamp set, different accents, and you'll really be able to try out a lot of different products so that you know what you want to buy from the mini catalog. So again, that's January 26th. The deadline to register is coming up really quick. It's actually this coming Monday on January 20th. So I want to make sure that you are aware of that deadline. It is a first come, first serve, and I do have limited seating, so it usually sells out. So don't wait if you're interested in coming. We also have prizes. Every hour we'll have a prize giveaway. Every participant is going to get a goodie bag filled with over $16 worth of products, new products. And we have some other fun surprises as well. So I hope you can join us if you're here in the Fort Wayne, Indiana area. All right, let's get started today because we have some really cute projects. I'm going to do 3 different projects today, and I'm going to just turn the camera down so I can show you some of the things in the suite, and we can get started with our first project. So hold on a second and I'll flip the camera around. All right, let's get everything tightened up here. All right, we have the Honeybee Bundle is what we're going to feature today, and I love this stamp set and coordinating dies. I didn't realize how much I loved little honeybees, but after playing with this set, I know you're going to fall in love with this bundle as well. Really cute stamp set, really cute dies that go with it that make little honeycomb patterns and cut out all the bees, and there's even another little bee die cut that you can add, and some pretty flowers as well. And if that wasn't enough, then that's from the mini catalog. If you go into the Sale-a-Bration catalog, the little flyer on page 10, there's some coordinating paper that comes with it, and or that coordinates with it. And you can receive this Golden Honey Designer Series paper. It's a specialty paper with gold foil accents, and you can receive that whole package for free when you place a $50 order. So, and I gotta show you this paper. I mean, this paper is truly beautiful. So here are all the different patterns. This is my favorite one with the gold accents on the flowers. And I'll flip that over too. So you have some beautiful black and white stripes that are so elegant, and you can use, a lot of these things have a bee theme, obviously, but you can use them for a lot of different projects. This is more of a just a plain that you could use with all kinds of things. This is another striped. Some flowers, always great for spring. You can, black and white, you can color those in. That would be so fun. I love this elegant paper. Look at that shine and shimmer. Those gold accents are just so elegant. Some of those flowers on the back, really pretty. Gold bees and little hives. And on the back, some polka dots, fancy polka dots. And then this pretty honeycomb gold foil paper. And then some more bees and hives print for the back of that one as well. So it is absolutely so much fun. I just love the gold foil accents, and I know you're gonna love those too. Okay, and then here's, you can find all of the information about the honeybee bundle on page 30 of the mini catalog. All the information's there, and I'll have all of the product numbers and any of the supplies that we used. I'll feature those on my description as well. You can also find all the projects. I'll have them, actually I posted yesterday the first project that we're doing today, and I'll post the additional projects up on my website as well, and that's toocoolstamping.com. So you can always find all of the measurements and card details there after I get those posted. Okay, let's start out. I'm going to start, like I mentioned, I did a post yesterday with some really cute cards, and I just love these. I did two cool versions, of course, a black one and a white one, and it says, if loving thoughts could heal, you'd be better already. Isn't that adorable? So I'm going to show you how to make that really quick. And we'll start, we're gonna do the white version with the white cardstock base. Of course, when we use white, we like to use the thick Whisper white because that's nice and sturdy for a card base. So we'll fold that in half, and that's just the standard 5.5 by 8.5 cut in, or scored in half at the 4 1/4 mark. Oh, my light bulb's going out. I just bought this light bulb and it's flickering already. Something's wrong with it already. So hopefully we won't have a dark spot on the side of the video. Live television or live video, right? It's crazy. All right, so let's put this together. So I have a beautiful piece of that designer series paper. This is 3 by 4, and because of that measurement, you can get a lot out of one sheet of paper. It isn't gonna stay on. Oh, I'm so sad. It's gonna give me fits today. All right, we're gonna add that to a black piece here, and this is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then before we put that onto our card front, we're gonna add some of the metallic twine. Now this comes in the metallic twine and sequins pack. This is another Sale-a-Bration product that you can select for free with a $50 purchase. And it's just it has like a daffodil twine with some gold metallic and some Bermuda Bay twine with some Bermuda Bay metallic. And then you also have these really pretty sequins. And these sequins match a lot of things. The birthday bonanza that we did a couple of weeks ago, that looks really great with that. But it also has a lot of colors in here that go with a lot of the other mini catalog projects as well. So we're gonna use that daffodil color. And I'm just gonna tie that around 2 times. Actually, let's do it this way. Wrap it around twice, and then we'll make a little bow. And I like to tie my bows upside down when I'm tying them directly onto a card, just because I'm gonna tie a knot first actually. But they seem to lay a little bit better. I don't know if that's just my imagination or what, but I just always seem to do that. Okay, so there's a little bow, and we'll trim off the edges here. Then we're gonna pop that up with some dimensionals onto our card base. I'm gonna crease that. Sometimes if you have a card base that really likes to flip up, if you really get in there with the tip of your bone folder, that's gonna help it lay down nice and flat. All right, now we're gonna add this to our card front. Whoops. Oh no. I hate when that happens. There we go. Shoo, saved it. You've never had that happen, right? Where you have something that you drop and sticks onto your project. That's like a nightmare, especially when you're about done. Okay, now we're gonna work on our focal point here. I've already punched out a 2 1/4 inch circle that used from the circle punch, and I've already die cut a scalloped circle using the layering circles dies. I'm going to stamp a sentiment on the top of that circle, and this is using a 3rd Sale-a-Bration selection. This one's called Sending You Thoughts, and some really pretty sentiments here too. So you have happy birthday, another sensational year of you have congratulations, you have thanks, and then the one we're gonna use is if loving thoughts could heal, you'd be better already. So I'm gonna ink that up with some Memento black ink. Add that right across the top there. And we'll go ahead and use some snail to add that to our scallop circle. And before we put that on, we're going to add the rest of the sentiment. Because we want that bee to be in there, the actual bee, I'm going to stamp on a sheet of scrap paper here. And we're going to use our paper snips to cut that out. Because there's an actual word bee, we want to get that out of there. So we're going to cut these into little pieces. Kind of like, it reminds me of when I was little, we made like fake ransom notes. Do you remember that? Like we cut things out of a magazine. Probably showing my age there, but we would cut letters and words out of a magazine and we'd make little ransom notes. That's like, do people do that anymore? Probably not. It's probably not politically correct. We won't talk about it anymore. Okay, now we have all of our little pieces, and I'm just gonna add this with snail. You could use multi-purpose glue or even glue dots. And then we still need that bee. We'll work on that in a minute. And just add in those words. Okay, now our bee is, I've already punched that out, so I just stamped that in the Memento black ink onto Whisper White, and I use the coordinating detailed bees dies with that die cut right there and cut that out. I do want to add a little bit of color to it, so I'm gonna add some crushed curry. I love the nice deep gold that gives. So this is just the Stampin' Right markers, and we'll just add a little bit of color to his bee body, and then we will pop that up with some dimensionals. We'll put the bee where it needs to go to finish that phrase, and then we're going to add some dimensionals onto the back here. Did you see how I did that to know where to put these dimensionals? Because I didn't want to put any dimensionals where this twine was, because it might kind of, make it a little bulky there. So this is how I would want to place it on there. So I just did a flip like that, so I know exactly where to put those dimensionals. So I'm going to add that right there, actually a little bit higher. And we're all done with that card. Isn't that cute? I love it. So quick, so easy, just a really nice get well card for a friend. And then the second card I did in the black. I did the gold foil for the background, used that gold honeycomb paper. The scallop for a little contrast, I did that in black this time, and then everything else is the same. So let me know which one you like the best. If you like the one with the white cardstock base or the one with the black cardstock base. I'm curious on which one you like. So again, this one I've already talked about on my Too Cool Stamping blog. So you can find all the details there right now. And I did want to also mention, I have a host code up here. We are doing a live class kit this week, and so the 3 projects that I'm doing, we're gonna, actually I'm gonna show you 6 projects. We'll make 3, I'll show you 6, and you'll get all the parts and pieces to do the 6 projects that you see, and I'll show all of those at the end. But that is a class kit that you can get for free, and all you need to do is place a $35 order using the host code that you see here, B939U64P, at my online store. You can find that store by going to toocoolstamping.com and clicking on the Shop Now link. That's the easiest way to get there. Okay, let's do the next card. We're going to use a lot of the same products from this bundle. This time we're going to start with a black sheet of cardstock. Again, it's 5.5 by 8.5, score at 4 1/4. Just a traditional card base. So that will be the base. Now we're going to use the pretty foil bees and honey and hives. We'll use that on the background, and this piece measures 4 by 5 1/4. So we'll add that to the background. Next, I have a piece of textured black cardstock. This one is a 2" by 5 1/4, and I have embossed it with some of the mosaic, I can't remember the name of it, mosaic folder? Anyway, mosaic mood? Now I can't remember the name. I'll have to look it up. I am going to use a little bit of tear and tape just because sometimes this texture doesn't like to stick in my humid state of Indiana. So we'll just add a little tear and tape to make sure it's going to stay in place. Finish it up with some snail. And we'll add this right down the center. Give it some extra pattern. Now I have to tell you a secret. So when I first started putting this together, I actually got out my honeycomb embossing folder, which is retired, and I forgot that it was retired, and it looked beautiful. So if you have that honeycomb folder from a little while back, then definitely pull that out. It's going to look fabulous with this stamp set. Okay, next we're going to do the focal point. This is going to be 2 3/4, let me make sure, 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. And we're going to start with the hive, and we'll stamp that in crushed curry. Get that nice and inked up. I want to make sure I have enough room at the top here. There we go. Next, we're going to add a little sentiment. I love this sentiment that goes right along the top of that curve of the hive. So that's what we're going to put on there. We're going to use some more Memento Tuxedo black ink. This says, wishing you sunshine and happiness. Do you see how I have 2 ink pads open here? I like to make sure I have enough supplies. Isn't that silly? So that just goes right over the top. I love it. And then next, we're gonna add that to a piece of gold foil for a mat. So this is gonna be 2 7/8. And let's see, did I not do the right size? Looks like I didn't do the right size. So it's 2 7/8, and then this was 3 1/4. I'm gonna cut that down a little bit. Shh, you're not gonna see this. I'm gonna have to give you the better measurement. I decided at the last minute to change what I was doing, and I don't have a completed card, so we're doing this on the fly, and it's just not gonna be as straight as I would like it. I wish I had my paper cutter right here, but I don't. Okay, let's see if this will, hey, look at that. Not too shabby, not too bad. A little bit, we're gonna cover this part up anyway with the bee. So I'll give you those measurements. Again, that's 2 3/4 by 3. And so this is going to be 2 7/8 by 3 1/8. All right, I love it when I change my mind in the middle, right before I go live. That's always a good time. Okay, we're going to add that. Next, we're going to add another bee. There's 2 bees here. We used the smaller one. Now we're going to use this larger one. So I have it right here. We're going to stamp it onto some scrap paper. Look at the detail. I just want to show you. Can you see that detail? It is one of those distinctive stamp sets. So the wings of the bee are just so detailed. I love that. So next I would cut that out with my die, which I have already done here. Again, we're going to use that crushed curry marker just to fill that in a little bit, add some color to our honeybee. And let's start popping this up again. So use some dimensionals. And I'm going to put that one about right here. We're going to add our bee right here, so it's going to cover up my really bad cut right there. There's always a way to fix it, right? So this guy's gonna go right there. And then I'm gonna finish it up with a little bit of sparkle and bling. So remember these from our holiday catalog? They're the holiday rhinestones. There's some really pretty, I think they're Melody Mango Melody. Trying to find my little, there we go, my take your pick tool. I'm going to use that to add those, but these are carryover items, so we can still use these on our projects and they're still available for purchase. So I love that. I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna use the smaller ones and I'm gonna just make a couple of little sparkles right there on the side. And then one more thing I want to add is some Wink of Stella. Now I know that bees are probably not iridescent, but I just thought it'd be fun to give a little bit of sparkle to the wings. Just a little shine and shimmer with the Wink of Stella brush. So can you see that sparkle? Does it even show up? I don't know. There we go, maybe a little bit. Since we already have a lot of shine, I thought it would just add a little bit. If you want, you might even, I'm thinking maybe we could even put a little, she's like a queen bee right there with a rhinestone. Yeah, perfect. All right, what do you think of that? All right, so I was inspired to make this card by a swap card that I received from Renee Konke, and this is her card. She did a horizontal version. She used a different designer series paper, but the same basic setup for the beehive, the wishing you sunshine sentiment. She put a little holiday jewel right at the top, and then that same bee over in the corner. So you have kind of a similar look and two different versions. So in your live class kit, you're going to get the materials that you would need to create both of these cards, as well as the first two cards that we just showed you. Okay, those are the second pair of projects. Now for the third project, we're going to do a really cute treat box to go with it. The first card was a get well card, and so I have little treats that you could put with a get well card, and these are so cute. They're actually pretty big pouches. You could fit a lot of candy in there, but they use that golden honey paper and some of the same accents and parts and pieces that we used for our cards. So let me show you that. First of all, I wanted to give you a tip on using the Stamparatus, because I actually just made these little pouches for table gifts for my team meeting this week. And in order to put those together quickly, I had the help of my Stamparatus. Do you guys have one? If you don't, and you do any kind of mass producing whatsoever, this is a necessity. I absolutely love it. So let me show you a little tip on how to do some mass producing. So I started out, this was something that I was gonna have to do some mass producing of the bee, and you're gonna have to either stamp it and then die cut it, and then the same with the sentiment. That's a die cut shape with the sentiment. And I have to say my sentiment is kind of crooked on my stamp, so it doesn't line up very well. So this is another way that you can kind of deal with stamps that aren't quite lined, the stickers aren't quite lined up right. So what I did was I just took some scrap paper. When I'm setting up a template like this, I like to use regular thickness of cardstock, not the Whisper White or the Very Vanilla. Those are a little bit thinner, and especially if that's what I'm using for my die cuts, I want to make sure that the template that I'm creating is a little bit thicker. So just a scrap that's going to be big enough. Put your one magnet on there, and then just put your stamps on your plate. Next, you're going to use your ink. This doesn't matter, this step, it doesn't matter what ink that you use. I have a little piece of fuzz or something on there, so let's get that off. It doesn't matter what ink you use, you just want to stamp your scrap paper. Next, you will take your scrap paper out. You're going to use your dies that you want to use. So in this case, I use my little honeybee die, and I would put that on there. And then I would also use, whoops, it's going to go right to that magnet. Isn't that funny? That's how magnets work. The other one would be the Stitched So Sweetly dies. Oh gosh, this is one that you have to have from the mini catalog. Look at all those basic dies that are just, they're so versatile. So this is the other die. So I would line this up how I wanted it, and I would run both of those through your die cutting machine. Then, when you are done, you'll have this template. You stick that right back in there. Now when you first put your piece of scrap in there, you have to make sure, this is very key, that everything is lined up flush in that corner. So nice and flush against both sides. When you do that and then you cut it out and then put this back in, now you have a template for exactly where that goes. Now you can just do a bunch of die cuts of the same shapes that you just cut out that are blank. So I have a bunch of little bees and a bunch of little labels from the Stitch So Sweetly, and you're going to fit those in there just like a puzzle piece, so they're nice and flat. Now we're going to go back in and ink that up with some Memento black ink. Push those on there, and it's perfect every time. Sometimes it's hard to get these out. I like to use my take your pick tool with the putty end, and you can just, yeah, usually it comes right out. I'll show you how easy that was to, to use the putty. Anyway, sometimes they don't want to come out. So you can do that for all your die cuts. So you just put it in there, ink it up, and stamp it. And it's going to come out perfect every time. So you don't have to die cut each individual piece. So that is something that is very fast if you're doing any kind of mass producing. So hopefully, you know, you might have seen that already, but hopefully if you haven't, that's something that'll help you out for your future projects. Okay, so we're going to be using those parts and pieces for this next project, and I'll show you how to put the box together. It's actually called a box in a bag. So I start out with a 3x4 piece of black cardstock. I've already scored it at the 3/4 mark all the way around. So 3/4, and then 3/4, 3/4, 3/4. Okay. Next, we're going to snip up on 2 of the sides. Like so. And then we can fold. So we're going to have some tabs. It's just some basic box assembly. And it really, this is going to be something that's inside of your bag. So you really don't need it to look pretty. If it doesn't come out all even, or if you have, you know, it's not going to be seen. So the corners and everything don't have to match up perfectly. So I'm just putting some tear and tape on each of the corners, and then we'll tuck those corners in, these little tabs, and make a box. So you can see, you can just fold that up and see how this has a little bit of an edge there. If this was on the outside, we'd trim it up and we make it pretty. We don't care about it because it's all going to be on the inside. We're just coming up with a base for the pouch. All right. Finish up this little box. All right, that's our box. Now, I wanted to tell you that this is the size that I came up with, but you can actually make this box any size you want. If you need a wider box, then just make it bigger, and you can score it at 3/4 inch all the way around, 1 inch all the way around, whatever you want to. But the base of it can be as big as you want to. The only thing to keep in mind is you want to make it not so big that you can't put a piece of 12-inch designer series paper around it, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. You can also, this is the paper I'm going to use for it. It's a 4x9, so you wouldn't want to make it too much wider, because you are only going to have 12 more inches on a regular sheet of paper, and unless you wanted to have 2 pieces of paper wrap around it, it just might not fit. However, another thing you can do is you can make it taller. So mine's only 4 inches tall. You can actually go up as high as you want to. You can have a really tall and skinny box as well. So I'm using this Fun Bee paper. I put some tear and tape down one of the short sides and one of the long sides. So I'll take that off now. And then we're just going to wrap this sticky side around. We're going to keep the sticky side that's going to be last, and we're going to make it flush to the bottom of this box. And I just kind of start in the center. That'll be the back, and then you can just start wrapping it around your box. I don't know how well you can see what I'm doing here, but I'm just making it kind of flush to the bottom, using that sticky tape to hold it in place. And you can kind of pinch the corners, make those nice and crisp as you go. And then you finish up on the back. And then this is your sticky side. I just like to make sure that my tops are flush. If they're not, you might need to use some paper snips to trim that off a little bit. So here's your box. Box in a bag. So there's a box inside and a bag on top. And then all you do is pinch. And you can kind of crease the tops there, and that creates your little pouch. So next, I just used a hole punch. This is just a standard office 1/4 inch hole punch. And I just went right up the middle here and punched a hole there. Next, I'm going to create my focal point here. I already have some pieces already made. So this is some gold foil honeycomb. Again, that comes with the detail, or that is made with the detail bees dies. We have our bee that we just made with our Stamparatus. We have the little sentiment that I got from there, and that is also from the honeybee, Celebrate Every Moment. And these are, I love this sentiment, especially now with Sale-a-Bration happening. when I made my table gifts for my team. It was kind of a play on words, celebrate and Sale-a-Bration. So that was kind of fun for our training event. And then I also did another die cut here, and this is another one from the Stitch So Sweetly. It's hiding back here. So that's really cute. And that's all going to layer together. So for that one, I used a little bit of tear and tape right here on the edge of my Stitched So Sweetly die, and I added that. And then you might want to use just a little dab or two of the Tombow liquid multi-purpose glue behind here. To save some time, I just kind of put a couple dabs of my snail back there. But if you want it to work really well, the Tombow works nicely. Then we're going to add in, I'm going to add a little bit more tear and tape. I'm going to put this right here. So I'm going to add some tear and tape right here on the corner of this little sentiment. Whoops. We'll add that right here. I love this little collage. Again, let's use our marker, our crushed curry marker, to color our bee in. And we'll pop that up with a dimensional. And put him right up here. And then we're going to add that to the front with more dimensionals. So we'll add a couple here. Whoops. I love that I can really pop it up on a 3D project because dimensionals are my favorite. When in doubt, pop it up. Okay, we're going to add that to the front. So cute. We need a little bit of gold bling. So I got my metallic pearls out here. I love these. They have silver and gold in the package. So I'm going to use the gold ones. And we'll just add a few of those right along the bottom here. Whoops, it's falling off. There we go. Okay, so that is our basic box. Now, of course, we're going to fill it with some things. So for my team meeting, I filled it with little Hershey chocolate bars because it's kind of the black, kind of goes with it. It's brown, but it's black, you know. And then also the gold, some little Reese's peanut butter cups go in there. So that fills that up nicely. And then we're going to use some black satin ribbon. And we're just going to tie that into a bow. So I'll make a knot first. We want to make it so they can get in it easily, so you don't want to make it too fancy of a closure. So just tie it in a simple bow. There you go. How cute is that? I absolutely love it. And then my black version again with that beautiful gold striped paper. I love that paper. So, so pretty. All right, those are our 3 projects today. Now don't forget, we do have the live class kit that you can earn for free. And all you need to do is to place a $35 order using the host code sometime between now and January 21st, which is next Tuesday. And I will be able to send you a class kit with all the parts and pieces to make all 6 of these projects. So you'll have everything that you need. Be sure when you're placing your order, be sure that you have the honeybee stamp set and the detailed bees dies. You can get them in a bundle for 10% off the price of getting them separately. So definitely get that. And I'll have all the product numbers on the post a little bit later. You're going to get all the paper and everything that you need, but I want to make sure that you have the stamps that go with it. Also, you might want to, you can pick up some of the Golden Honey paper for free if you place a $50 order. So you can get that beautiful paper. You can also get the Sending You Thoughts sentiments. So this is another that you can get for a $50 order. If you have a $100 order, you can get both of those for free. So just some ideas of how you can make that work. Remember that the sentiment here, I will not have the stamps already stamped. So the If Loving Thoughts Could Heal, You'd Be Better Already, the ones that go with these 2 cards, this is with that free stamp set. So it really helps to get this. I will have all the paper, so you don't have to worry about having that as a free item, although you might want that for yourself to get some designer series paper for free. But this one you'll definitely need to complete those 2 cards in addition to the honeybee. All right, everybody. I hope you really enjoyed this week's projects. I know I did. I can't wait to show you another project or another set of projects next week. We do this every Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you back here next week. And until then, this is Angie with Too Cool Stamping. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.